you're good to go.
Hello, people of That Beautiful Life podcast. This is Roddy Bergström talking all the way from Stockholm, Sweden. I got to see in the show notes that it's episode 180, meaning 180. That's how far we've gotten. And when I say yes and we and all that beautiful stuff, I'm of course not alone. With me, I have the beautiful Curious Campbell all the way over in the beautiful Reading, England, the UK, if you will. How are you this morning?
I'm good. I'm good. Voice is better. RM better.
Yes. Power.
Z power. I live and breathe. Yeah, just doing a lot better than I was doing last episode. I think last episode I was just coughing all over the place and all that kind of stuff. And now I can actually have a conversation and not just be coughing into the mic for the majority of it. So that's always a good sign, you know.
It is.
Can't complain at all.
Sounds good. So, when you look out through the window, describe the scenario when it comes to
it is the sky is clear. It's I can see the blue in the sky. You can see a few thin clouds in there. Our weather forecast for today, it seems like it's going to be mostly sunny. That's what they describe it. Temperature is going to get up to like 22 degrees. It will start raining though, according to the report, but that's like in the night. I think somewhere around like I don't want to say maybe around after 7 or something. It's probably going to start raining somewhere around there. So at least for the daytime, like while we're awake and moving and stuff like that, it should be fine until like later in the afternoon. So today seems like a good day. Nice and warm, nice and clear skies. Nothing too much to worry about. I'm happy. I'm happy with that.
What temperature do you have?
Currently it's 15. I think it's gonna get up to 22 by the end of the day. So yeah, a bit cooler in the morning right now, but it will get a bit warmer as the day goes on. 22 is a nice temperature, I think.
It is. It's actually it's so interesting. It's like one of those. You just want to you want to be there. That's perfect. It's actually perfect, and I think it's actually more or less the same. That's going to be what we'll see here, where I live in Sweden, or close to Stockholm, the city of Sweden. Yeah, so it's going to be a bit of overcast. Sun's going to pop out once in a while, but yeah. And as I said, but we've had rain. Yesterday, I told you before we started to record that it was like tropical rain coming for an hour, and then it just went back to being quite nice evening. I would say we had dinner at least outdoors here in front of the house, so that was nice. But it was good because less humid, better air to breathe, good for the health, everything. So. Okay, we can shove some rain your way, Daniel. I can definitely do that. If it happens again, I did check the forecast though, and here it's not gonna rain anything today. So as told also before the podcast, we might do like a little thing going away, like out to the maybe beach somewhere in the archipelago or something. I don't know. Something nice, at least being a bit outdoors today, I believe. So because I am enjoying also having a bit time off from I'm making videos on YouTube, but I haven't been streaming, as I told you, so that was actually a good thing to decide and to do, because I'm usually on it all the time. So for me it was like, okay, this is good.
Freedom. I live and breathe.
Freedom. Yeah, this song.
It's good stuff. When you are free to just relax and you don't have to think about stuff, and you don't have to just I mean, which is just something I had a bit of last week. I guess let's just jump straight into the week. We went camping.
Oh, what?
Yeah, well, I guess you can call it glamping, because we stayed in a cottage, sort of like it was an old barn that's been like renovated into like it's been renovated into a what do you call it, like a place that people can stay, so we went there. Some friends of Alex invited us out, and we accepted their offer, and went on out. But it was in Wales. Initially, we almost didn't go because Alex and I had a disagreement leading up to the. It was related to the whole camping thing. Like I was like, I'm not sure we should go and blah blah blah, and we had some disagreements on the thing. But I'm happy that I went along. That we actually ended up going in the end. It was just nice, you know. So yeah, so we basically we essentially the plan originally was to go with my younger brother and just sort of like drive up to Wales with him, and that was the original plan at least. And but in the end we ended up shifting the original plan. We ended up going up there on our own because he was planning to leave around I think like 4 p.m. or something to go on this camping trip. And basically we were supposed to go with him, but in the end he just sort of like he left and went when we were still like having our back and forth about going. And we ended up having to catch a train to Wales because it was in Wales, and we ended up catching the train.
Aha, okay.
And which I think was better for us. You know, I think catching the train to Wales was a lot better for us because at the time like, we were disagreeing, you know, and we were having our back and forth and all that kind of stuff. Like we were just crossed at each other to a certain extent.
Yeah.
And so being cross each other and having like I think if we went with my brother and went while in disagreement, I think we'd have ruined the trip for everyone because of the fact that we would have been like working out stuff while around other people. Because I think Alex's plan, she wanted to work, like she was like, oh, if we go we could work it out and all that kind of stuff there and all that kind of thing like that. But I was more like, I don't want to work out stuff in front of other people, you know, especially like they're all, you know, all adults and everyone's there to have a good time. You know, I think if we're good working through our stuff while they're on this beautiful camping trip, I think we'd be, again, ruining it because when we disagree, you know, it's not like the prettiest sight of us like disagreeing on something. It sometimes gets ugly. So, and because we're not sure how it's going to get, if it's going to be ugly or if it's going to be partially, oh, thank you. I just brought me breakfast. I've got porridge. Are you all right, baby? Okay. You stay beautiful too. So yeah, she just made me some really nice porridge. I need to take a picture of this. Like, you got to see this. But yeah, essentially we got on the train and by the time we got onto the train, we had already like spoken a lot and you know, came to a conclusion of our disagreement basically. And we got on the train and we went up to Wales. We got the train to Cardiff, and then we had everyone on the trip, which they were all wonderful people, by the way. They all put up to get us an Uber because where we were was out in the wilderness from Cardiff. It was in Wales, but not directly in Cardiff. And so we got an Uber from Cardiff to the camping site. I think it's something called like Bren something. I can't remember the name of the actual thing, but it started with a B. And got there. And then once we got there, then Ash picked us up like a portion of the way. So we were just sort of like being handed over from vehicle to vehicle, you know. So then we went up into the area where it was like in the back of nowhere, like behind God's back. Like there was nowhere to, like, if you asked me to find that place or to tell you where it is, I probably couldn't. And then we got to this nice little cottage with stone walls and wooden windows and you know, wooden roof and all that kind of stuff. And we got inside and everyone was excited for us to be there, but most of them were asleep. And we ended up we ended up getting in there. Like originally the plan was, I think according to Alex, like I was supposed to get a bed because of my neck, because of my nerve damage. But because we didn't show up and they weren't sure we were coming, someone else had already taken the bed, so we got a blow up bed, which was fine in the end because I slept pretty comfortably on the blow up bed.
Okay.
But yeah, so Alex and I got this blow up bed, and we were right. I think it was better that we got the blow up bed as well because we were right next to the fireplace. And
Mm-hmm.
this is the first time I've experienced a fireplace in my life. Like I've never had that.
Ah,
Never had a
that's
fireplace. Not once in my life. This was the first time, and it was beautiful. Like honestly beautiful. Like just the sound of the fire, the warmth coming off of it, because it was cold and chilly up in Wales. So that warmth coming off the fireplace was sublime. Honestly, it was just the most beautiful thing. And then the look of it, like, actually, I'd be honest. When we walked in, the whole like next to the fireplace, there was just underwear sitting there, like toasted next to the fireplace. Like, and then we asked everyone like, what's going on with the whole underwear thing? And they were like, well, they went, I think they went on a hike and they ended up down by a stream and they all just went in, so they had their underwear like cooking next to the fireplace, which I have to say, cooking your clothes next to a fireplace before you put it on is again amazing, because the next day we ended up going to this to look at the castles and stuff, and our socks got soaked and we had to put them by the fireplace. And I'm telling you, the next day when I took my socks up to put them on, oh, it felt so good. It was so nice and warm and toasty. So yeah, we ended up having goulash on the night. So one of the guys there, he made an amazing goulash. He was so cool, and he was like, I want to say he was like the life of the party while we were there, because he was just so energetic and vibrant. And he was awake when we got there, and he was. I think the highlight of him was that every time he got up to go to the kitchen or whatever, he'd ask everyone, "Do you need anything? Like, I'm going to the kitchen. Do you need a drink, or do you need something to eat, or do you need this and that and so forth?"
Oh.
So he was just so helpful, just the most helpful person ever, and it was wonderful. Like, it was just really, really, really wonderful being around him. And then I mean, everyone was just being amazing, so
Yeah.
they were just so helpful and so kind. And we had the way the shower was set up, like there was a shower outside of so essentially you had the house that we were staying in, the stone house and all that kind of stuff, and we had electricity but just for lights in the house, nothing else. And if you needed to charge your devices, there was a kitchen that was on the side of it. So you had to come outside, go to the side of the house, and there was another stone structure that had the kitchen in it. And that had like a stove and freezer and refrigerator and all that kind of stuff. And there's like one strip where you can plug so everyone's phones were always like in there charging all their battery banks. And then you leave there, and on the side of that is a toilet. And the toilet had, it was like, inside was kind of like wood. But the toilet was like infested with these giant spiders that
Okay.
stood they basically sat in the top of the ceiling in the corners, just staring at you. Very creepy if I'll be honest. Like, these spiders just sitting there watching grown people. I mean, if I were them, I'd be ashamed of myself. But they basically just stayed there. It was creepy at first, like because when we got in, we were told that there were spiders there, and then we saw the spiders. We saw one, and someone stomped them out, and the spider, it died. It was stomped to its inevitable end. It sort of jumped down at us, and then basically we just sort of we just sort of like ended up sort of like. I think the first night we were all paranoid about the spiders. Like, I will be honest, I was like, these things are gonna kill me in my sleep, right? Because it was like the spider we saw, the first one we saw was massive, and it just when spiders get up on like their hind legs and their front legs are like up in the air, and it's like
Yeah.
it did now. Maybe I didn't make this sound, but in my head canon, this is how I remember it. I remember it getting up on its leg, and I heard. All right, this is what I heard. Right now, again, maybe it didn't make that sound, but my headcanon was that. Right, it was horrible looking. And I remember the first night I slept and I woke up. I think I woke up like around the entire trip. I think I woke up like 7 a.m. flat. Like, I was just getting up every morning to just go use the facilities. But the first morning I didn't go use the toilets. I went outside in the bushes and I watered the grass. I was just like fertilize the soil, water the grass. help nature, la di da. Stay away from spiders, you know. But I'll admit, even when I was weeding the grass, I was like, what if there's a spider in the grass and I weed and it just jumps out and grabs me? But then as the weekend went on, when I realized, you know, the spider didn't come in the night to take me out, and I lived, I got accustomed to it, and I just didn't look for them, didn't care. I was like, look, if they come to get me in the night, then such is life. I guess that's the end of me. And and then yeah, so like I think the second night I slept, it was even better because I wasn't even thinking about the spiders. And we had moments where we just sat around the fireplace and we chatted. And I think one of the things that the highlights for me was that we hung out with like adults for a weekend where we just had adult conversations and just hung out and laughed. And I think just the company of everyone was just the highlight of it all. You know, I learned poker. You know, one of the guys taught me poker, which was so amazing. And you know, even one of the ladies on the podcast, she listens to podcasts as well. And she was telling me about how this podcast that she was listening to, and I was like, you gotta send me the name of the podcast so I can check it out, which I'll have to remind her to like send me the name of that podcast. And you know, her husband, he's like he's a gamer, and he gets all the stuff that we get, so it was so cool like talking to him as well, you know. Just, you know, because he, like, you know, it was so like we were a kindred spirits, you know. And you know, there was one other bloke that kind of reminded me a bit about you. His name was David, and he got up one morning, and at least I saw him get up this morning, one morning, and saw him how he was awake in the morning. He got up and he was doing his push-ups and everything in the grass, and his arms all swollen and, you know, bulgy and manly and stuff. I'm like, damn, I need to start working out. You know, I'm like, I'm not being, you know, like super strong, you know. So, you know, we just sort of I think it was just wonderful, and everywhere we went, everyone was just so whimsical and fun, and just the most wonderful experience, honestly. Just absolute most wonderful experience being up there. We had like fresh food. We went wine tasting at a vineyard, which was really, really nice. We ended up getting everyone got like a bottle of the wine, a bottle or two. We got some local jams. We had eggs straight from a chicken's butt cheeks, you know. Didn't even touch the ground. Someone was there waiting right underneath the chicken as the egg was coming out to catch it. Just like, yes, perfect egg. We did the castles. We went to some caves as well. The caves were really I want to say they were underwhelming compared to what I was expecting, but they weren't bad. That's the best way I can say. Because like the caves I wanted more. I thought we were going to have more caves to see. It was going to be longer, but I think some of them had flooded out. So we didn't get to see all of it, I think. From what I understood, we didn't get to see all of the caves, you know, because the whole experience was over way too quick. And I think especially there was one set of caves where essentially when you got up there, so there was this before you went into this section, they had these hard hats that everyone had to put on. And then we didn't know why until we actually started to go towards where it was. And then you put on the hard hats and you go up this area, and you had to sort of like duck down and sort of like crawl on your, well, not really crawl, but sort of like hunch your back and climb up this sort of incline. And then once you got up there, because the roof was so low, once you got in there, it was just a room, and it had bones and stuff like that. But you were in this room and you could look at these stuff from a distance. It sort of lit up while you were in there and showed you one half of the room. And then I guess after some time it would lit up and show the other half of the room. But I think everyone got into that room and was just like, wow. Because the climb it took a while, especially because we were hunched over. And we just got in there and we were just like, this is kind of really underwhelming. Like, this was not really that excited per se.
Yeah.
Especially for the climb. Like, we were expecting so much. Got in there, nothing. And when we got back down, we ended up reading the sign. The sign actually said, this is a small room, you know, so we did not read the sign. We were just like so excited, like, we're gonna go up here, it's gonna be amazing. We got up there and was and there were animatronic dinosaurs and all this sort of stuff. But I think it was just nice. It was just nice walking through the caves and chatting with each other. And I think one of the things when it comes to experiences like this, the people you're with really matter more than anything else because they make the experience.
Sure.
So because we had such a really cool group, everyone's taking pictures, everyone's hugging and kissing and holding hands and all this sort of stuff. I think because of the fact we had that group, I think that's what made the whole experience even better. And then we got down to the bottom of this hill and there were animals. It was the first time I saw an emu IRL, like up close. It was the first time I saw a llama up close. I've seen donkeys and horses and sheep. Those are like regular animals. But actually, have I seen sheep up close? I think I have. Haven't I? I don't know. To be honest, I saw animals and they smelled like animals. I didn't touch them though. Everyone else was like rubbing these animals and touching them and then all this sort of stuff. And I was just like, germs. Germs. I was like,
Okay.
There was one point where Alex she wanted to give me something to hold and all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, ugh. I was like, I can't hold this. It's going to have germs in it. And everyone came out and, there was alcohol gel around, like hand sanitizer, I should say. I wouldn't say alcohol gel, hand sanitizer around the animal pens. And at one point, everyone decided to start using the hand sanitizer. And it was a very slimy, creamy texture. So we just all agreed that it was horse cum, right? 'Cause it was just horses all around us. I was like, horse cum, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's what they're sanitizing with. So in the end, we ended up finding a pipe, washed our hands.
It's ecological, it's natural.
It's natural, yes, very much so. But yeah, honestly, great weekend.
This sounds really, really nice. And as you said, if you have that vibe with people when you're there, it can be really, really, really something. And the cool thing also, as you described, those moments, just you were close to the fire, it doesn't really have to be that like so much happening. It's more like the atmosphere, what you're just being together and doing these things. And talking about that, I think there's someone also close to you in this chat reminding you, saying something about documentaries and game winning. I got to be interested in that.
Documentaries and game winning. Sorry.
Yeah.
Don't forget I think she's talking about our friend who was on the trip. The same gentleman I mentioned who was so cool.
Okay.
His name was Jack, and Jack was so cool. He watches documentaries with his missus. We found out that it was more her than him, I think.
Okay.
So, but she's also really cool as well. Like I would say everyone on the trip were really cool, especially because they were Alex's friends before we got there. Now they're my friends. I think they like me more than her now. At least that's what I think. This is also in my head canon. But essentially, yeah, Jack is so cool. Like he plays games, he watches documentaries and all that kind of stuff. And he won. Actually, I lost to them in multiple games, so I'm on a losing streak, to be honest. Yeah, but just really, really, really nice stuff. And we did have some cakes and scones. Alex and I had apple crumbles. Some of the others had cakes and scones. And we found it like this nice little I'd say like an outdoor cafe. We just sat down. The rain. It rained while we were up there, but it was more like it was spraying water on us. That's so raining.
Yeah, okay.
But the whole time we were wishing we had more time. We were wishing we had more time, and we were thinking like, oh, we would have been so great if we had come up earlier. But in my mind, I just kept remembering like, hey, we did have a disagreement before we came up, and I would have preferred I'm happy we did it the way we did it because of the fact we got to like sort of conclude our disagreement. So when we got there, we were just having fun with everyone. We weren't sort of like bringing our own personal stuff like into this wonderful environment. It was more of a thing of like we were just there as a part of that wonderful environment.
So all in all, how long were you there? Was it like two
days? We got there for we got there on so late Friday night, Saturday morning. We got there early, and then it'll be early Saturday morning. And then we stayed all of Saturday, and then stayed all of Sunday till Sunday afternoon, and then we drove back in the car. And I'm happy we got the train over because the car was so uncomfortable. Like honestly, if I were to make that trip again, I want to be in a bigger vehicle because it was so uncomfortable. It was 5 of us in the car and 3 of us were in the back.
Yeah, right.
And I sat in the middle because everyone else preferred being on the sides, and me being a slim guy, I said, it's fine. No, it wasn't. I was uncomfortable.
Yep,
So
you got the mid seat. Okay, a
I got the
spot
middle
in
seat.
between. Yeah.
And next
How long
time,
was the ride with the car to start with?
I
What
want
is
to
it?
think it was like maybe 2 to 3 hours approximately.
Aha, yeah, that's a long sit.
The train was about the same distance, but
Mm.
or the same length of time. But because you're on a train, you have more space. You can sit down. You can rest your
Yeah,
head
yeah,
on
it's
the
a difference.
table. It was nicer. It was really nice on the train.
Mm. Good. That's
So
really nice.
we had a wonderful time this weekend. It was amazing. Thanks to everyone who invited
Mm.
us out. Everyone who was there was just really, really, really cool. Our party of our group was it was me, Alex, Aga, Jack, Norbert, David, Susan, and am I missing anyone? Ash, Natalia. I hope I haven't missed anyone. I really hope I haven't. Hopefully, I haven't missed
Yeah,
anyone. I think I said everyone. I'm pretty sure I said Jack. But anyway, the point is,
quite a few. Quite a few. Yeah.
everyone was amazing, and so thank you everyone for having us. It was a wonderful weekend. Honestly, it was just that cabin was so nice. I can't wait to go again. Hopefully we get to spend more time next time. And yeah, it was just so nice. Like the views, the pictures. I'll probably share some of it in Discord. For those of you who follow our Discord server, you'll find some pictures in there. So I'll try to share some of those with you guys and there and stuff like that. But other than that, yeah, it's just a wonderful weekend with some wonderful people, and I can't complain about that. So yeah.
Yeah, nine people in total. Yeah, I was counting as well when you
Were
were.
you counting?
Yeah, when you were naming them, and then I see the confirmation in the chat. So I was like, yep, that made sense. That's good.
This was
Two
the
more,
same.
2 more. You have a soccer team.
2 more, we have a soccer team. Exactly, which made it kind of complicated whenever we went to when we went to this small cafe in the wilderness. They were like,
Okay.
oh, we don't even know if we have enough like stuff for you guys.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah. That's funny. But that sounds really nice.
Yeah.
Again, these kind of things are so good to do, and also as you said, I mean, you met some people that you've heard about, but you didn't really know them. So
The thing is too as well. Like I met them before this weekend.
you have met them, okay?
So I think last week I spoke about we had a board game night or something like that. Those were the
right,
same
that's
people
true.
at the
That's
board
true.
game night.
Uh-huh.
But again, we kind of got an initial getting to know each other at the board game night, and this sort of camping trip where we really got to know each other a bit more. We got to spend more time talking to each other and just getting to know each other. Like we sat down on the fireplace and just chatted at some points. And I kind of wish we had more moments like those. Like we had good moments, but I wish we had more moments where we sat and we just chatted and shared stuff about ourselves and all that kind of stuff. And the other thing too, all the ladies on the trip were Polish. So there were moments when all the ladies were just sitting around and just chatting to each other in Polish, like, Polish, 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 Polish. And we all the guys, none of the guys were Polish, so we were all around there just like nodding our heads, understanding none of it.
Yeah, but I can imagine must be a nice moment for them to speak their language with each other for some time.
Yeah, definitely. I'm sure of it.
Definitely understand that. It's great, But also, I hear this was good for you guys. I can hear that.
It was
like a beautiful weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Indeed. It reminds me actually when you're talking about this, what I've described when it comes to like the midsummer celebration we have, like the tradition that we've got with our friends that we've had since like it's like late 80s, since it was back then both me and my wife, and when we started to study at the music academy here in Stockholm, and we got to know these people and we've kept contact. And then the last now it's more than that, it's like 8 years about we've had this tradition, we go out Midsummer's Eve to this little small island where one of our friends have these two quite big cottages actually, or three. It's actually three. So because we're around like 10, 12 people,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you can say pairs from
Mm-hmm.
like the good old days. But now also some of the older, children sometimes shows up. I mean, Adam has been with us for 2 years
Mm-hmm.
because he also liked the atmosphere there. And we do the sauna stuff in the evening. It's close to the water, like the
Mm-hmm.
sea, and yeah, it's great. And that's also moments where you just sit down and talk, and very spontaneously, not too many activities, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. It's more around the food, of course, but
Mm-hmm.
it's I love it. That's really quality of life moments, I guess.
Yes.
Polish woman can be trouble. Oh, really? Nah, queens are speaking. Of course they are.
Mm-hmm.
I have. I'm not sure. I think I said one of my. Well, actually, it's my aunt's man who made some really, research when it comes to our, if you go back to when it comes to relatives, like far, far, far back. And I think on my might be my father's side, I think I have some Polish heritage, like
Mm.
really, really far back. I
Mm-hmm.
think so. Uh, you know, uh, because
So.
which is not
Mm-hmm.
strange at all, because it
Mm-hmm.
was a lot of people coming up from Europe,
Mm-hmm.
like both Poland and Germany, also
Mm-hmm.
good, like how do you say, craftsmen and craftswomen that yeah, they did a lot of stuff in the area where my relatives are coming from, especially on my dad's side, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like from like up north, but in from the coast, you might say. So
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of cool. Mm,
Well, that's good.
you know, stuff like that.
That do be
Dooby doo,
some
dooby doo
nice
doo.
some niceties in the history of the culture. It's all good.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. The
Mm-hmm.
bloodlines. Yeah.
I can't say that the Polish women quite the feisty ones, but I enjoy them. I think Polish women are wonderful.
They are. They are.
Yeah. They can be
Definitely.
quite
They
feisty.
are.
When it comes to arguing with them, it's horrible. But I think I think it's about the passion. Like when they get passionate
Yeah.
about something, they're very passionate,
They
and
got characters.
they
It's
got character. Yeah, they put it all into it. Like if they love you, they love you. At least from my
yeah,
experience, they're very feisty about everything. But
indeed.
yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy with my Polish
You
lady. So.
should be. You should be.
So I mean, I'm married to a Polish
Yeah.
woman, so I kind of have to be happy.
Exactly. Yeah. Think carefully about what you're saying from now on.
She does make me she does come and bring me like snacks and treats while I'm podcasting. So
Yeah,
she made me some porridge
exactly.
this morning. If I were to say something bad, the next porridge could be laced with something. I'm just saying. I like living too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. 2 hours later, you have heavy diarrhea.
Yeah,
So be
I'm sitting on the
careful.
toilet. I can't even breathe. My butt cheeks have
You don't
exploded.
even have time to check if there's spiders in there.
I'm telling you, I'm eating and the
It's gonna
spider
be.
just
I
jumps
need
out.
to go, bro. And yeah,
Definitely.
that's a scenario.
It is. So how about you, though? How was your weekend?
Yeah.
How was your weekend,
Oh,
Raj?
it's very common in many ways. Now, as I described to you, we have been mostly at home. I mean, my wife, Anneli, she started her vacation. Let me think now. It's midweek, so Monday,
Mm-hmm.
and she's had quite a tough months when it comes to work. So for her, it's been mainly, to come down a bit, like when it
Mm-hmm.
comes to pulse and everything. And you know how that is. It takes a few days, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I've seen her. She's been lying out here in the backside of our house, reading a book and enjoying I would say, the good weather. Sure, we had this like rain coming now and then, but most of the time it's been pretty nice. And that was good for me because she kind of made me also slow down a bit,
Mm-hmm.
which I need. So I've been sitting out a bit in doing some bathing. I
Mm.
haven't been doing that for some time. Very short though. I'm just 20, half an hour, whatever have you. Then sitting in the shadow, reading a bit also,
Mm-hmm.
catching up with some reading. And that's been really, really nice. And we've had some good dinners. Like usually we have this. This is like on the back side of our house. We have the sun until like 2 p.m. I think, and then the afternoon and the evening is on the front side. So we
Mm-hmm.
usually take like dinner on the front side of our house, which is like, yeah. So that's been nice. And so I told you, I think today we're gonna try to, when we're done with the podcast, we're gonna go take the car and go, to place a nice place. It's like we have a lot of nature around where we live, which is really fortunate. I mean, that's a perk with living in
Mm-hmm.
the area where we live. Or actually, you don't have to go that far outside from the city, like Stockholm, until you reach like the green grass and the trees and the forests and whatever
Mm-hmm.
have you, and water definitely. Like there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of water, a lot of oceans. Like, well, one ocean apparently, but a lot of lakes and things like that. But yeah, so it's really that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, doing stuff like that. Adam was here, our oldest son, yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Had dinner together with him. Yeah, it was yesterday, right? I start to, I'm relaxing that much that I'm starting to lose track of days. It's like, oh wait, was it Tuesday yesterday? I
that,
think so.
that's when you
Yeah,
had a really good relaxing time when you start to lose the days.
absolutely. Yeah, when you start to think less about what day it is and maybe
Mm-hmm.
even time, then
Mm-hmm.
you know that you start to breathe a bit deeper and start to relax more. So I guess I'm in that kind of state, and it's good. And as I said, I've taken time off from streaming, which
Mm-hmm.
is very uncommon for me also. So which is good. So I'll be back on that next week. Next week's gonna start to be a bit more, onto it again, if that makes sense with
Yeah.
things. We're also gonna have a meeting with the band I've talked about,
Mm-hmm.
to set up a few new goals and things like that. So yeah, it's nice. I mean, time flies also. I just realized, holy shit, we're leaving Dubai soon. It's like August. No, it's August soon. Wait, stop.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really ready for that. But I mean, August can be absolutely amazing and beautiful as well. It's not that summer just ends, but
Mm-hmm.
it's, yeah, what can I say? But so it's been good. It's been good.
We both had a
Like
good week.
yeah, I would say very good. Good for the soul.
Good for the soul, very much so.
Yeah.
I think it was quite wonderful indeed. I'm sure we both had other things happen during the week, but I can't remember any of it. So all I remember was the nice weekend out. That's what I remember. Anything
Mm.
else, my brain has sort
Yeah,
of
but of
like
course
paved over it.
but that was the highlights. I can totally understand.
Hmm.
And that's nice that you're sharing with us. So,
Wonderful.
yeah, and talking about sharing, since you've had this weekend, have you been able to do any video gaming at all, or?
So I think I mentioned last week that I made a bet with Bao.
Oh
That
yeah, that one. Holy shit,
the
I almost
thousand pound
forgot.
bet. So I bet him that I could finish this game series within a week. Sorry, within a year and a half. I think. I think that's how much time I have to complete it anyway. And I had my laptop with me when I went on this trip, but I only used it once, which was on the train ride to Cardiff. So while I was on the train ride to Cardiff, I did take my laptop out, and Alice was watching some anime on her phone, and we were just chatting while I played and she watched, and then she got tired and she was like, I want to just like snooze, and I was like, okay, cool. So I did play on it a bit, on that ride up. So the game being the Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. But I didn't play much Sky since then. I think I only just started playing Sky again yesterday proper, when I did my live stream last night, because I didn't stream on Monday because I was just so exhausted on Monday. I mean, we had that whole weekend up in the in Wales, and then I came back and I had stuff to do and all that kind of stuff. And I think my whole sleep schedule was thrown off as well. So
Oh,
in the end, I ended up like, you know, I need to sort of like catch up on some sleep. So I did.
yeah.
I streamed yesterday instead, which I did stream late yesterday. But in the end, Trails in the Sky, it's just getting better and better. The Legend of Heroes Trails in the Sky. The more I play, the better it gets. That's the gameplay you can see on the screen right now.
Yeah, it is right. Okay.
So it's getting better and better. It's an older game, but it is the story is so well written and so whimsical. And it
Ah,
being an older game, some of the writing and stuff, some of the stuff that they're writing is so forward thinking and so cool. Like I like the characters so far. I'm enjoying the story. I'm just having fun with it. So feel free to check out my streams of it on at LP Guardian. on YouTube where I've been streaming it, and yeah, I'll be popping up something again this week, maybe tomorrow. I'll stream
Mm.
again tomorrow, maybe. But
How do you feel? Where are you at, if I may ask? Do you feel that you are like following your the schedule when it comes to this bet and everything?
I think I'm. I
Are
think
you
I'm.
progressing well, if I ask?
I want to think I am progressing well. I could probably be faster, but I think to be
Yeah,
faster, I'd need a Steam Deck or something where I can play remotely anywhere. I can just hop in and just play. I think
yeah.
playing from my like as I'm playing right now, I'm playing from my PC or my laptop. My laptop needs to be plugged in for me to for me to sort of like play,
Mm.
so essentially I tend to use my laptop on occasion, but if I had like a Steam Deck or some kind of handheld PC, I think that would increase my amount of time by an exponential amount. Even like for example, like last night, I wanted to play some, and Alex was like, Alex has this thing she does. Let me just explain this to you, right? So Alex has this thing she does before bed when she's awake, like because Alex has two versions of it. There's Alex when she's like fully awake and she knows she's in her senses and everything, and then there's bedtime Alex where she's going to bed and she's like, I need you next to me, So awake Alex is sort of like, don't come in here with no laptop and stuff and make noise and blah, blah, blah. And then there's bedtime Alice who's like, please, baby, come to bed. It doesn't matter. It's not going to bother me. No, you can just come and play on your laptop right next to me and I'll be fine. Right? These two Alexes don't like each other as far as I'm concerned because they create conflicts for each other. And then I am in the middle of it, and I don't like that. So
Oh man.
I tend to err on the side of pre-sleepy Alex because usually if I no, I get in trouble no matter which Alex I agree with. So if I agree with sleepy Alex, then pre-sleepy Alex is gonna be upset with me the next morning because she's gonna be like, I didn't get any sleep, right? Now, sleepy Alex, if I agree with her, what happens is essentially sorry, if I agree with Sleepy Alex, pre-Sleepy Alex is upset me. Now, if I agree with pre-Sleepy Alex, then Sleepy Alex gets up the next morning. It's like, you didn't come to bed. I hate this, So,
Okay, I get the picture. Okay.
yes.
Okay.
So essentially, that's kind of the gist of how it works out in the end.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's kind of the gist of it.
Oh,
I've sort of like stayed up, played some of it last night. It was
yeah.
chill, I'm sure Sleepy Alex is upset that I didn't come to bed last night, but it's all good. But I told to myself like if I go to bed now, I'm gonna wake her up because by the time I finished watching Tele and everything like that, it was so late. I think it was like around 4 a.m. in the morning. I couldn't go to bed then. I just wake up for
Mm-hmm.
no reason other than to just go in there. So I was like, nah, it's fine. I'll see you in the morning. So yeah.
Yeah, right. But on the other hand, I can understand you're saying there when it comes to Steam
Excuse
Deck
me.
or the possibility to play it like on the fly, so to speak. But on the
Hmm.
other hand, if this is not, even though I understand you want to win the bet, and I'm pretty sure you will,
Yeah.
but if it's gonna not be like a really unhealthy ride,
Hmm.
I think it's in one way it's good that
Hmm.
it's like office time, if that makes sense. Like you go to your computer, you
Hmm.
play, and then you don't do it when you do other things, like if
Hmm.
that makes sense. I
Yeah.
think that might be a good thing too, as long as you can be quite strict to that whatever schedule you might have. I think it's going to be
Hmm.
fine, but because otherwise also can give you more stress, maybe, if you have like a handheld, whatever, something that you just get onto, or as you said, like putting up the laptop here and where, like kitchen table is, it starts to get very, like, I don't know, I'm not sure if that's the best way to do it. So maybe it is good that you have your sessions really sitting down playing, and then okay, I've done it for now, and I have
Hmm.
another one this afternoon or whatever have you, or
Hmm.
I'll be back tomorrow and do in some hours, whatever.
Hmm.
So so I'm sorry, I was just laughing. I saw I saw Alex comment there in the chat. He's 100% okay. Um, the reaction. Well, with that said, I think this is interesting. This is good. I mean, you will definitely work your way through this, and it's also nice to hear. I mean, you're playing some good older games to start with here.
Hmm.
So I can yeah enjoy the ride. I mean, first of all, you've never played this, right? Before
No, this is
or
my first time playing Trails in the
yeah.
Sky. So I've played
Mm,
previous Legend of Hero games. So I've done Cold Steel,
hmm.
but I've not done Trails in the Sky. And Cold Steel is one of the newer games. So um it's got like newer mechanics. It's similar to this game, but it's got newer mechanics and
Yeah, right.
more modern graphics.
Mm.
You have more things you can do in the game and stuff like that. I do the one thing I would say I don't like about this game is the button layout. For like we're bringing up extra menus and stuff like that. Like I think right now, or just a moment ago, you could see I'm bringing up certain menus and
Yeah, I
um
see that. I'm watching it. Yes.
it's sort of like the button combinations you press for them are just ridiculous. Like they have like you press LT to bring up a menu, and then you press X or B brings up a menu, and B also is your button to go back. So it's like it's strange.
Yeah.
They laid out the buttons in a strange way. I don't really like that for the button mapping. I'm pretty sure I could probably remap them, but I just can't be bothered to be honest. I'm just kind of like I'm just gonna get through it the way they made it, and such is life. I had to patch the game as well because there was no voice acting, so I patched in the Japanese voices for it, which is one of the perks of playing on the PC. You always have like there's always some solution to help improve games sometimes whenever you have a game that's not running exactly the way you want it.
True.
So
That's
yeah,
true.
I was able to patch it, get it away. I wanted with the voice and stuff like that. So I'm gonna do Sky One. I think I'll make it through Sky One within I think within the next 2 weeks, I'll probably be done with it. Especially from this weekend, Chris would be leaving on Sunday. So when he's
Okay.
gone, I'm gonna have my office again to myself, which means I'm gonna be able to like stay up and be comfortable and chill and just catch up on stuff like this, like playing Sky and so forth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah, I will be able to sort of like chill a bit longer because some of the times like I'm streaming and I want to go longer, but I know Chris wants to sleep. So it's sort of like I could
Exactly.
stream for another 2 to 3 hours if I wanted to, but then and I'll make more progress in the game. But then at the same time, Chris is gonna be all groggy and he wants to sleep. And I think it's
Sure.
to that extent, it's sort of like okay, I need to leave the office and let him get that space. So having
Mm.
that I think that's the downside of having guests. So there's the upside to having Chris as a guest, is he cooks and it's nice and the food is delicious and all that kind of stuff. And then there's the downside of like I can't use my damn office for any extended period of time. So like I have a window, a time slot when I'm able to
Uh,
use my office. Like I mean obviously I could just like say, well, I need my office and blah blah blah. But I think that's kind of insensitive, It's kind of like
yeah.
so to that extent it's sort of like yeah, I shall miss Chris, but I also look forward to having my office where I can like catch up on things, so I can stay up
Yeah.
at ridiculous o'clock and not think like I'm inconveniencing anyone. So yeah, that do be a nice perk if I do say so.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I'll be fine. I think within once I have my office back to myself, and hopefully if I'm able to get some sort of handheld PC at a reasonable price, I think I should be able to do it in a shorter period of time. I would like to get through at least most of the games by at least the first three before December.
Ah,
If I can get
okay.
through the first three games before December, I'll feel pretty good and pretty confident
Mm.
in myself. Because that would mean I just have the Cold Steel games to do, and I do plan to replay the first game despite the fact that I've already played it. Because I can't remember the story in that.
Yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah, 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 yeah,
I
yeah.
just remember like little details here and there, but I have a way where once I've played a game and some time has passed, I've pretty much forgotten everything about it. So yeah, I'm looking forward to jump back into Cold Steel, do 1, 2, and 3. I'm aware that certain characters show up in the future games, so I'm looking forward to that as well. Characters from the first few games. So I think yeah, if I can get through the first 3 games, then do Azure and Zero, which I'll have those on the Switch. So that I can play handheld. I can have that on my Switch and just move around with it. Then I'll be happy with that. I think I'll be
Mm.
pretty good with that if I can do all of them together. That'd be brilliant. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of the gist of it.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful. Thank you.
Hmm.
What about you, Raj? You've been
Yes.
playing something that I have been interested in, but I have not
Yes.
picked up yet. So, like, I
True.
saw it, I spoke about it, I said I wanted to try it out, and I didn't.
Which is, life is life. You only have
Yes.
24 hours, and that's how it is.
Hmm.
I have been going back well, going back. That's not really the right saying because it's a game I played a bit on and off. And I'm talking about actually, yeah, it relates to an anime, I guess, when it comes to the universe of Gundam. And it was the game that was released just about a year ago, which is Gundam Evolution. Now, this is an attempt from Bandai Namco to make like a game that would be appealing both when it comes to people being like fans of the Gundam universe and also FPS gamers like myself. Unfortunately, it hasn't really been going that well when it comes to the game, and bad news just came my way regarding the game just a few days ago, and that's the fact that they will sunset the game. So they will close down Bandai, not Bandai Namco, but Gundam Evolution on the end. I think it's the end of November. Yes, that's right. So I made a video about it on my channel if people are interested to check it out. It's a bit of a pity because from my point of view, being foremost like I guess I could say an experienced FPS gamer, the game plays quite well. It's got some nice pew pew and shooting, and I was hoping that it was kind of an incentive strong enough for people to check out the game and play it. Besides that, this is like a project or a game, my type of game that was a bit like new for Bandai Namco to manage. And yeah, they didn't do that so much when it comes to marketing either. And if you think about it, it was only like 2 weeks after the release of uh, Gundam Evolution last year, they released Overwatch 2. So that kind of clashed a bit as well. On the other hand, Overwatch 2 isn't doing that well either, but that's another story. But it's always sad when a game is going to be sunset or closing down. And yeah, because I've had fun. For me, Gundam Evolution became like, especially when you had like a balanced lobby, like two teams that were, performing like almost the same, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Good fights, I would say. Then I had a really good time, and I enjoyed the different units as they were called, like the Gundam units and the mobile suits and everything. But I know that some, especially hardcore Gundam fans, weren't that happy about like, well, a lot of things, I would say, how it played out, and they thought they also missed out on an opportunity to make them even more like stand out due to the fact that they were modded and they could change like colors and whatever. I'm not that deeply like into the universe of Gundam. I mean, that series started already back in the 80s, I think. But even so, it's oh, what are you saying there? Yeah, they're already opened a Gundam store in London. Look at that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
because
are.
the franchise is of course big when it comes to the universe again of Gundam. So I'm not surprised. I totally understand that.
Hmm.
But again, the game, as I'm talking about it, it's a pity. It's gonna leave us. And the
Excuse me.
game has, I mean, still up out there, free to play as well, has potential. But
Hmm.
they also made a bad monetization system within the game. Uh, Unfortunately, they missed out on that, and also takes quite some time to play, or you might even use the word grind to unlock some of the later like units for
Hmm.
you to play with. It's not bad what you have from the beginning, but it once again it creates a bit of an yeah the tediousness of playing for it to unlock and still and then you have the choice just to pay to unlock certain units. It's
Hmm.
I'm not saying it's pay to win, but it's
Hmm.
very close to it to a certain extent. And just that makes it a bit like, I know that people have been shying away due to that, and also the fact, as I mentioned, not really feeling the Gundam spirit maybe enough for
Hmm.
people, especially with that kind of background, to play it. But I think a lot of people, especially as mentioned me and with the background of playing a lot of FPS games, felt that, well, the game, when it comes to like a FPS perspective, has actually something to offer. And with that said, I feel a bit sorry due to the fact that not enough people got to play it. Because when you look at the numbers, I did that, of course, when I made the video. There was like quite a how do you say, a loss of players already after the first week of the launch, and they never really recovered, if that makes sense. Nothing unique. I mean, a lot of games are struggling like that, but it's what it is.
Mhm.
Yeah. So yeah. Oh, you played, Chris. Yeah. By the way, hi, Chris. Yeah. Yeah.
When
Yeah,
did Chris
exactly. When
play?
you get the overpowered mobile suit, you win. Yeah, so exactly. It can become the balance is also, I have to mention that, not only what you unlock or not are able to unlock and when you unlock, but the balance is not perfect. I don't think per se that it's like bad. I played other games, other shooters that where the balance is obviously really off. Here you can feel that it needs work. When it comes to between some units, but it's not like bad, if I put it like that. But interesting, yeah. Look at that now. I didn't know you did that, Chris. But it's, yeah. So that's that. I've been playing Gundam Evolution, and it's a bit of a goodbye video I did, because I don't know, my incentive also to continue to play right now, since I know it's gonna sunset. It's not that strong, unfortunately. Because continue to make progress. Sure, I might play it before the end of November, because again, I can have fun playing the game once in a while. But it's I don't know. Not many of my friends either are playing the game any longer. So there you go. It's a struggle out there. It's
It
not
is.
hard. It's not easy. Sorry, my bad. It's not easy to get things right, and to not only that, to make a good game, but also to make it so that people wants to continue to log in and play. That's basically my saying.
I think the problem with it as well is that all multiplayer games have limited sort of lifespan, because eventually at some point people either move on to something else, or there's only so many games that people can play, because at the same time, because multiplayer games, they live and die on their communities. So if you have more people playing at the same time, then there's more likely that people will continue playing that game for a bit longer. But everyone can't play the same can't play at the same time and all that kind of stuff. So if you have a multiplayer game, and let's say, for example, you get a million people playing your first week or whatever have you, and that dies down with time, maybe you get down to 500,000 or whatever have you, and so forth. Eventually maybe something new comes out that all these other people who like these types of games see and think, oh, I want to jump into that new game, and then your game dies. That's basically it. Your game just dies because everyone, not every single person will leave, but if a large enough percentage of people leave, and then the game has a certain percentage of financial investment in servers and stuff like that, I think eventually you will just lose that community, and your game sort of dies. I saw dies. So yeah. I honestly think multiplayer games have a shelf life. They do have a shelf life when it comes to it. I think single player games usually don't. I say usually because there are some really sketch things going on with single player games right now. I've heard on the news that like Ubisoft is deleting your library of games if you don't actually use them.
Yes,
which
I heard that too. I saw the headline was like an even stronger incentive for people to pirate games and stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, if I go to my Ubisoft account and my games are not there, I am pirating your crap. As far as I'm concerned, by all means, feel free to delete my library. I'll just pirate everything you have going forward. I'll never buy Ubisoft game ever again. I'm guaranteeing that much. If I ever go into my account and what I paid for is gone and missing, you have stolen from me at that point in time, then I guarantee you I will pirate every Ubisoft game going forward. I'll never buy Ubisoft game ever again. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's me throwing away money. It's me putting money that I could that will be stolen from me in the end. So as far as I'm concerned, Ubisoft can feel free to steal my library by deleting it. By all means, if they give me a 30-day warning and say you have 30 days to play this or else, nah fam, I will wait that 30 days and see you delete my account. And when it is done, thank you very much, Ubisoft. I'll pirate the rest of your stuff. As far as I'm concerned,
Yeah.
you know, I still remember my pirating ways. I still know how to go on these websites and download this stuff. I don't like doing it, you know. I like supporting the devs and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're gonna do anti-consumer crap like that, then I will pirate. You know, I'll go back to those ways.
It's true. I mean, we talked about this also when it comes to like movies and stuff. We talked about, the services we have when it comes to Netflix and likewise, that it would be the easy solution and you will be able to watch whatever, wherever you were in the world. But hey, it's region locked. Okay, I'll leave here. I can't watch that. Blah, 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 la, di, da. And they make it hard. And of course, people like get really frustrated and angry and they start to pirate. And it's like it didn't really, how do you say, the purpose of having that convenient service then becomes like, you have a flaw, don't you? It really gives you a problem. This is a bit similar. I think this is a really bad move, of course, by Ubisoft, and then maybe they have to eat up their own hat, so we'll see. Yeah, they need to fire their marketing advisor, most likely to start with. It's I don't know how they're thinking, but it's that's that, I guess. We maybe should move on though into the section of Tele. Time flies when you have a good time, as we always say. I see that when I'm looking at the time. I mean, you had your adventure during the week and everything. Have you been able to watch anything?
Well, that's one of the reasons. That's one of the reasons I stayed up last night, was to watch something, so I'd have something to talk about this morning. So
okay, look at that now.
Yeah, I'm dedicated. I'm so dedicated. You know, I it's not because I just have no self control and I stayed up because of the podcast. It wasn't because I had no self control and wanted to just watch something. So basically, I saw this film called. It's a follow-up to the film I spoke about last episode. It is Army of the Dead. So we saw Army of Thieves last time, and that film was amazing, really, really good. I think I gave it a 9 or 8 or something last time.
Yeah.
So Army of the Dead, which is the follow-up to Army of Thieves. How do I put this? So Army of Thieves was, I did give it a 9. I'm just checking my rating. I did give it a 9. It was rated a 6.4 on IMDb. I give it a 9. Army of the Dead is not that. It's not a 9. It's a 5.8 on IMDb. And I'll be honest, your boy is giving it a 4.
Really? Oh my God.
It is bad. Like, Army of the Dead, it's amazing how two films, with essentially there's almost the same people, with regard, not the same actors and actresses. There's like one actor that sort of like, that comes between the films, but the director and the writers, but this movie is bad, mate. It is bad. Like, honestly bad. Like, so Army of the Dead, it follows up where, our main character, our main guy from Army of Thieves, he turns up in this as a locksmith to break into the last vault that he wanted to break into and all that kind of stuff. And there's sort of this crew that come together. They sort of like survive the zombie apocalypse. The zombie apocalypse happens, and they've survived it. The zombie apocalypse happens in Las Vegas, and so basically the government is sort of like blocked off Las Vegas where you can't get in there, and they're just sort of like evacuating people out, people who've survived and stuff like that. And then they're gonna drop a nuke on Vegas. So you have this crew who want to go into Vegas and steal some money that was hidden in there and get out before the nuke hits, So essentially that's the premise of the film that it starts with. It's I like to think the characters, you know me when it comes to characters who aren't smart. This film just, there's a lot of it that just doesn't make any sense. Like, none whatsoever at all. And I think by the end, even the closing scene, there's one. I'll say this much, right? It's gonna be a spoiler because I don't want you guys to watch this film. Usually I say spoilers, and I don't want to like spoil a film for people. I want them to enjoy themselves. I'm spoiling this one. At the end of the film, one of the characters is in the area when the nuke hits. Right? They remain in the area when the nuke hits. And essentially the nuke hits and they have to sort of like you assume they're dead, right? You just think, okay, this person has died and so forth. And literally speaking, like the closing scenes, you see this person come out and they leave the area. Right now, my thing is, aren't nukes radioactive? Isn't this person?
Yeah, there will be. Yes, yes, short answer.
And this person would have been at ground zero when this nuke hit. One, and number two, when they also they also would have had they were carrying stuff out of this area as well. So it wasn't like they were walking like normal and so they were carrying stuff. So in the end, it's sort of like, really, that's how it worked out. I was like, this is kind of lame. This is not. I'm not really feeling that. Like, his body should have melted due to the nuke and all that kind of stuff. And the way they ended in a sort of cliffhanger way where it's like there could be another film like this. I honestly hope not. I think if you've seen Army of Thieves, end right there. Don't go see Army of the Dead. Yeah, they're connected. There's one character that connects them. Don't ruin him. Like, he's great in this film as well. He's great in this film as well. It's not like he's a bad character in that. But I think he's so much better in Army of Thieves. And I like the actors in this. David Bautista he's great in this. He's great in this. There's Omari Hardwick, who's also great in it as well. I like to think that the actors and the actresses in this, most of them do a great job. I think there are some their writing, I think, is what hurts them. And the writing in this film is ridiculous. Like, it's nonsensical to no end. There's one character who basically she sacrifices the whole, like, everyone essentially, just to save this one person, this one lady that she was told that she told the lady not to go. The lady went into the zombie area for some money, got captured, and she sacrifices everything, including her own father, just to save this one lady, right? And I just thought to myself, like, that makes no sense. Like, why would she sacrifice her own dad, right, for this lady that she's just known for some period? Yeah, the lady has kids and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, she has to know that, look, what I'm doing is going to mean the death of my own father for this one lady, but I'll do it for this lady. And then it just makes no sense. It makes no sense the way the script is written, the things that happen. It's just all nonsensical, It's just all really, 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 really. I think it's just made to just be a slasher kind of type film, and it's got whimsy and funny stuff, but a lot of it makes no sense. A lot of it makes no sense, and I spent a good portion of the film hating the characters. Oh my god, that's so stupid. Who would do that? That makes no sense. This is the dumbest thing ever. Like, that's literally how I spent most of the film. I was just like, like wanting to scream at the telly at certain portions. I was like, what kind of nonsense is this? So I'd say Army of the Dead 2021 film. Yeah, don't waste your time, man. Like, honestly, do not waste your time to watch this film. It is on Netflix along with Army of Thieves. Go watch Army of Thieves. That film is amazing. Don't watch Army of the Dead. That film is not. This is one of Zack Snyder's worst. Let's put it that way. It is a terrible film, and I do not recommend it in the slightest. Not even in the slightest. Don't even waste your time.
And I disagree. It's definitely worth watching if you like that kind of genre of movies.
Oh my god, you agree? Oh, so because you've seen this already?
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah. I said it last time.
So what do you think about this daughter when she's like, oh, well, I'm gonna save this lady because, like, her kids, she's got kids, and she just does like the most nonsensical stuff,
Well, I can't remember everything because I saw it like when it was released. So I don't have like the movies like details in my head. But I do think the overall impression for me was, I thought it was it was kind of cool. I kind of enjoyed it. It's definitely not the best movie I've seen. Definitely not. And not in the genre as well. This apocalyptic kind of almost zombie style movie. But I don't think it was as bad as you rate it. I don't. But again, I mean, we have different what we prefer or references, I guess. So that's perfectly fine. But yeah, well, there you go.
We do have different preferences, but I felt like with Army of Thieves, I felt like when you watch a film and it gets to the end and it feels like there's a purpose for everything that happened.
Sure.
You get a satisfaction of knowing that there was a conclusion in a nice way. I think with Army of the Dead, it gets to the end and you're like this film served no purpose. There's no progress made for the characters, no development, no change, no nothing. It's just brain dead at the end of it. At least for me, that's why I felt when I finished it. I was just like, I feel like I wasted time watching this. Like this is just like 2 hours of my life gone for nothing, Whereas with Army of Thieves, I ended that film. I was like, oh my god, I want to know more. What happens next? This is amazing, But yeah, Army of the Dead was just bad. It was honestly, I want to say Army of the Dead starts off really good. The build up is amazing. The characters, it's got all the good stuff in the build up.
It came out before Thieves, isn't that so? As Chris is writing, I believe.
Yeah. Well, if it did,
if it could be, I don't remember that the year or whatever. But it's not that important though. But yeah, it could be so.
Army of the Dead was 2021. Army of Thieves was 2021. They're both the same year.
Interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if it came out a few months apart or something like that. October for Army of the... So it would have been October for Army of the Thieves. Army of the Dead, let's see, when was that? That would have been May. So yeah, Army of the Dead came first. So that came out in May, and Army of Thieves came out in October. The one thing I would say the difference between them two as well. So Army of the Dead came out first, a few months before. I would say the director of Army of Thieves was not Zack Snyder. So Snyder wrote Army of Thieves, but he didn't direct it. It was someone else who directed it. Okay. And I think it was better. I think it was a whole lot better. And it just went in such a much better way. It wasn't a perfect film, obviously. No film is perfect. But I think Army of the Dead was just like the way it built was so nice at the beginning. I was getting so excited. I was like, "Oh, it looks like it's gonna be the same thing like the previous one." And then things started to kick off, and it's just like this makes no sense. Like my brain just starts like rejecting everything that's going on screen. I'm just like, why? This is horrible, So yeah. I don't like this film. 4 out of 10 for me. And that's me being generous. It's a 5.8 on IMDb. I could give this a 2 or 3 if I wanted to, but I'll give it 4 for the intro. The introduction of the characters is amazing. And I like the actors and actresses. I think they do a good job. I just don't like I don't like the conclusion or the final arc. Like that the last 2 arcs are horrible. Like it makes no sense.
Don't listen to Q. He doesn't know what he's talking about. He's just sleepy and he has not been eating enough and stuff like that. He's that's disillusional. No, I get the point. We need to move on though.
Yeah, definitely.
I need to get into Transformers just a bit before.
Go for it, bro. Go for it.
Sorry. Indeed. Where are we now? Yeah. Okay. So I have been watching Transformers: Rise of the Beasts. This is the newest Transformers movie. And I have to add quickly to this that I have not been watching all Transformers movies. And I did that because I just heard from my closest that they were pretty shite. So I didn't. I kind of enjoyed it first. I enjoyed Bumblebee. I really like Bumblebee. And if I'm going to go straight to what I think about, like what I thought about this movie, I think it's good. It's worth watching. I don't think it's as good as Bumblebee was for me, but it's not. It's quite close actually. It was better than I thought. I didn't have like high expectations, but just the fact that my youngest son, Crazy or Isaac, said that, well, we should watch this, because he's been very anti. It was like, no, don't watch the other movies. They're not good. But it was like, I think we should watch this one. and
Mm-hmm.
we did, and I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
Again, not also, it's definitely not the best movie I've watched, but it was enjoyable. It was entertaining and everything, and it had what you want from this, like good action and adventure and all that stuff. Um, and it's also like a twist here, because they bring in like a new faction, you might say, of Transformers, and they're called the Maximals. It's like how should I put it? It's like animals,
Mm-hmm.
like a big Kong monkey almost, but enhanced like a transformer like, and you have a big bird and so forth. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
there you go. Um, yeah, as you say, Daniel, it wasn't the best, but better than the others, except for the 2007 Transformers. Then I think we think about the same there, because that's my kind of take on it. And again, I like Bumblebee as well, and yeah, so I give this a thumb up. I think this is worth watching. Talking about rating and stuff, it has a 6.2 on IMDb. I could be a bit generous today and give it a bit higher, actually. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
closer to almost a 7, maybe 6.8 at least for
Really?
me.
Ooh la
Yeah, I
la.
think so. Yeah. Well, I'm in a good mood today here, so it's gonna be the generous part of me
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
kicking in
Unlike
here.
me, I'm just all about that. This film sucks today.
But sometimes you feel like that. You're definitely entitled to think so,
Mm-hmm.
That's why we're here, to discuss and to have our opinions said. But that's that. I mean, I don't want to spoil. Apparently, the old Transformers get to work together with the Maximals. Apparently, that's a must in order to fight the bad forces, or the other side, you might say. So joining the Autobots
Mm-hmm.
as allies in the battle for Earth. Yeah, yeah. What do you say, Daniel? You thought something? Yeah, they tried to bring Beast Wars to the theater. Okay, yeah, something like that.
I remember Beast
Uh,
Wars. That was good
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, indeed, indeed. But again, I'm happy. I'm happy I watched it. So, I think I should stop there. Otherwise, you start to talk about like what it more in depth, and maybe like spoil things and stuff like that. And I don't want to do that. So,
Mm-hmm.
Transformers: Rise of the Beast is a recommendation. That's I think that's my saying for today. Yep, there
Hmm.
we go.
Okay,
Mm,
good job.
yeah,
Yeah, Reg. I think
yeah.
you've sold us on Transformers: Rise of the Beast.
I hope so. I hope so.
I shall definitely not see this because I can't stand the Transformers movies. I think they are just explosions and robots, and I am not a big fan of just explosions and robots. I need more than that. So I will
Well,
not
there
be
is a
watching
bit more
this.
than that. Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's cool, man. That's good stuff. I think this is this is good. This is good.
Yeah.
You've given something that you kind of like, and I've given something that I can't stand. It's horrible. So, I think
Yeah.
what you guys can take from this week is that with regards to our film suggestions this week, not the best ones this week. Not our favorites per se, but
Mm.
you can go in with caution with Rogers, and you definitely don't want to watch what I recommend, because what I spoke about, because even if Rogers says he thinks you would like it, Roger doesn't know what he's talking about. So
And the tennis match continues. You
yes.
serve. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Oh
that's funny.
man. So
Yeah.
Rog, how about we let's get out of here. My throat's been scratching me through the latter bits. I know you guys have been hearing me coughing. I don't want to make you
Yeah,
guys
but it
suffer
wasn't
anymore.
that much. It wasn't that much.
I had to mute the mic at one point.
Mm.
I had to mute the mic at one point. I was choking on that phlegm starting to build up in my throat. So I'm gonna get
Ah,
down off of the desk and go down to the living room and stretch my legs and exercise. Maybe I'll try to get out of the house today. I don't know. We'll see what happens.
yes, yes, that sounds like a good plan. I gotta go
Yes.
and talk with Anneli now and take some coffee. I also got a SMS as we were podcasting from the guitarist in the band, and he wants to
Hmm.
come and pick up his guitar. So I said, okay, we're gonna fix the time here for that.
Hmm.
So I need to arrange things here.
Hmm.
But yeah, thanks for being here. Thanks, guys, also in the chat. Very much appreciated. And those of you that are listening afterwards, of course, to this beautiful live podcast, everything between heaven and earth when it comes to life and tele, movies, and of course, video gaming. Very important stuff. So, with that said, my guys, have a good week until we talk again, and stay healthy, all that beautiful stuff. Don't get sunburnt or something like that. Protection.
Protection.
And yeah, one apple a day keeps the doctor away. So with that said, or maybe even better, a muffin. So muffining out.
Beautiful as always. So that, guys, thank you very much for listening to this episode of That Beautiful Life podcast. You can find Rush pretty much everywhere at 40 Splish Splash. That's the number 40 with a SPLISH, SPLASH. He streams. Well, not right now. He's taking a break, so so you'll have to wait till next time to find when he streams.
Until next week, actually, next Tuesday.
Until next Tuesday, he'll be back. Next Tuesday, he'll rise again, and then he'll stream on Tuesday and Sunday. You know, unless of course if Andy says, "Look, Roger, I need an extra week of this wonderful time we spent together. You're gonna have to take another break," and he's gonna be like, "Yes,
True.
yes,
yeah,
Mrs."
That's the thing. That's the thing.
Yes, you know, you always have to agree to Mrs. The minute you say no, Mrs., and you have an argument, and it's horrible. So you have to be like, when she says, "Hey, can we have an extra week?" It's like, "Yes, baby, whatever you want." You know.
Yep.
So with that, you find me at Epic Guardian, Guardian result to you, Epic Guardian. You can also find us at Simply Binge UK or at Simply Binge, pretty much everywhere. So as always, we wouldn't like you guys to miss any of the episodes of That Beautiful Life podcast. Many beautiful people like to subscribe to this podcast on Castbox, Acast, Spotify, iTunes, Google Podcasts, simplybinge.com and elsewhere. And what's the comment that you're gonna like it that we're giving it for free. So as always, guys, this has been queued for your pleasure. And it's a wrap. That is